to Clues, Crimes, and Cozy Times, the podcast where you get access to all of CJ Bellvue's mystery files. For free. I'm Thea Graves, host of Factor Fright, and this is Percy. Tonight's investigation takes us to the historic Norwood Inn, where social media influencer Sabrina Sperling ended up taking a walk to a morgue instead of down the aisle. The official story is suicide. The locals say murder. Who's right? Let's find out.
Deadly Ever After. The Boo Files, Book 1, written by CJ Bellvue, read for you by 11 Labs.
Chapter 1. The staircase groans under our weight, each step exhaling dust and the scent of aging wood. My intern, Enid, follows with the boom mic, breathing through a makeshift mask fashioned from a bandana. Smart girl. Welcome to the Norwood Inn. I square my shoulders, smooth the lapel of my slate gray blazer, and survey the carnage of the old building as I stare into the camera lens. Brocade wallpaper molting in strips, dust already provoking my allergies, and a chandelier the size of a small SUV creaking overhead like it's considering a career change to floor ornament. But on camera, with the right lighting, the Norwood Inn can still pretend to be glamorous. That's the magic of television, a tight crop and an even tighter budget. Declan Hundell, my Sunshine Incarnate co-host, leans in, his fully caffeinated smirk perfectly in place.
Where brides check in, but don't always check out.
His flannel shirt hangs open over a faded band tee, one side of his collar folded under, dark hair sticking up in 3 different directions. His hazel eyes are bright and amused as he takes in the chaos with a delighted grin. Save the taglines for post. After 8 seasons of filming Factor Fright together, I should be used to his incessant improv. No matter how many times we reshoot something, it almost always goes off script. The audience loves it, but the editing is a nightmare. We reach the second-floor landing. Warped portraits line the hallway walls, their eyes tracking our every move. The bridal suite door waits at the end of the corridor, adorned by a dull gold plaque proclaiming the Stanton Honeymoon Suite in cursive that's seen better decades. I push it open. Arctic, damp air slaps me in the face, smelling faintly of lilac and old newspapers. Legend has it that in 1893, bride Hester Stanton died here mere hours before her wedding. The official story claimed she hanged herself from the bridal suite balcony using her own veil after discovering her fiancé's infidelity. Over the years, it's been called many things: a suicide, a murder.
Some even think a ghost was responsible.
Declan chimes in. Scoffing, I roll my eyes and smirk for the viewers. Whatever the answer, tonight we find out the truth. Or at least, which parts of the story still hold up under a camera and a little skepticism. I nod at Enid, but just before I can call cut, an ear-splitting chorus of girlish shrieks echoes through the inn. The suite door bursts open. 6 women tumble through, drenching my perfect shot in a waterfall of sequin sashes and plastic tiaras, wielding champagne flutes like medieval flails. What the hell? A woman in a white satin romper that strains under rhinestone lettering spelling bride across her chest strides forward. Glitter dusts her cheeks. Her tiara sits crooked in a nest of perfectly curled hair. She barrels forward and hugs me, hard. Oh my God, you're Thea Graves! I almost choke as I struggle for breath. The embrace smells like bubblegum vodka. Hi, I'm sorry, who are you? She releases me, and I gasp, just managing to catch the name embroidered in glitter across the lower end of the sash as she spins dramatically toward a bridesmaid with neon pink extensions. Sabrina Sperling. Bride-to-be, lifestyle influencer. The kind of woman whose entire existence is optimized for engagement metrics. Hadley, the innkeeper's daughter, had promised me they wouldn't arrive for another 3 hours. Charlene, did you arrange this? The woman who steps forward isn't a girl at all. She's a good decade older than the rest of the bridal party, sharp-jawed and composed in a way that reads less bridesmaid and more chaperone. Her blazer is pressed. Her heels are sensible. A freshly pinned maid of honor sash sits slightly askew across her chest, the fabric still creased from its packaging. No, Charlene glances at her clipboard, brow furrowing. Jessica nudges Becca, stage whispering loud enough for the entire corridor to hear.
She's been like this since the airport. Full Lauren mode.
Someone has to be.
Charlene says.
Lauren would have just let us vibe.
Jessica pouts.
Lauren is 8 months pregnant and on bed rest.
Charlene replies, her voice carrying the flat patience of someone who has delivered this explanation several times today.
So you get me.
Lucky us.
Sabrina's already spinning toward the suite door.
My sister flakes, and I get her bestie as a consolation prize.
Charlene scowls and opens her mouth to respond, but Sabrina spins back toward me with wide, hopeful eyes. Congratulations on the impending nuptials, I say, brushing glitter from my blazer and waving the papers away. The bridesmaid next to me exhales and shoves them back into her bag. However, we are mid-shoot. Sabrina's smile falters.
Aw, but...
Before I can corral the glitter tsunami, Hadley Norwood trudges in from the side hall, eyeliner smudged, vintage Ramones tee stretched thin under a reluctant lilac bridesmaid sash that clashes with everything she is as a human being. She takes in the tiaras, the confetti, the kazoo clutched in another bridesmaid's hand.
Thought you lot weren't due till 3.
She says it flatly, raising a sharp eyebrow at Sabrina as she looks between the newly arrived crowd and us. Sabrina shrugs and bounds over, throwing her arm around Hadley's shoulders.
Change of plans, Hads. Content waits for no woman.
Hadley's jaw tightens at the nickname, but she doesn't shrug Sabrina off.
Sabrina, your mom's still setting up the welcome baskets downstairs.
Hadley says, directing it more at Charlene than at Sabrina.
She wanted everything perfect before you came up.
Mom can finish without me. I've been stuck in a car for 4 hours. I need content and champagne in that order.
Hadley catches my eye for a fraction of a second, the commiserating glance of one professional recognizing another's suffering. Then it's gone, replaced by the flat mask she clearly reserves for this particular bride. Ladies, I say, still smiling, we need 5 minutes of quiet to capture an establishing shot. Then the suite is yours. Deal? The bridesmaid with the champagne bottle-shaped kazoo salutes.
5 minutes. Starting now.
The sour note ricochets through the vaulted ceiling. I pivot toward my mark by the cracked fireplace. Enid, slate please. Factor Fright Season 8. Norwood Inn. Scene 1, Take 1. Enid crows. Deep breath.
Meow.
A black cat strolls into center frame, settling on the edge of the rug with a yawn. Wonderful, the local mascot.
Aww.
Enid melts. The bridal party squeals. The cat closes his eyes. Scene 1 is dead again. Pinching the bridge of my nose, I sigh, then turn toward Enid. Maybe some establishing shots will help. Enid, get a wide. Declan pans to the thermal display, frowning.
Blue spot near the vanity. 15 degrees cooler than ambient. That's unusual.
Drafty window, I say.
Windows closed.
He glances at me, something unreadable flickering in his expression. The cat pads in with his tail curved in a languid question mark. Sleek, self-satisfied, he lies beside the vanity, staring at the cracked mirror.
Even the cat feels it.
Enid whispers. Behind me, the bridal party has crept back to the doorway. Charlene stands at the front, one hand on the frame, the other clutching her clipboard to her chest.
So?
Sabrina asks, pushing past Charlene into the room.
Is it haunted? Tell me it's haunted.
I stare her down, then exhale through my nose. It's not. The mirror rattles. Enid yelps. Declan zooms in.
You see that?
Old hardware, I say, stepping closer. The building settles, screws loosen. It shakes again.
Screws aren't the problem.
Declan says, winking at the camera. I press 2 fingers to the frame. In the fractured surface, my reflection splinters into wrong angles. For a breath, I think I see something pale behind me. Then it's gone.
What about that?
Reflection distortion, I say. A trunk squats at the foot of the armoire, oak and iron banded. I cross to it, kneel, and flip the latch. The lid exhales dust and mothballs. Inside are delicately folded piles of brittle lace, discolored satin, and a veil yellowed to the shade of old snow. Historical artifacts, I say into the lens. The inn claims these belong to Hester herself, though provenance is harder to verify than the ghost stories.
Perfect.
Sabrina prances to the trunk.
Look at this vintage realness.
She extracts the veil, holding it up to the light.
Can I try it on?
That's property of the inn, I begin. But Sabrina is already placing it on her head. Chapter 2. The lace settles over her tiara, drifting down in a soft curtain. She turns toward the cracked mirror, clasping her hands beneath her chin with theatrical reverence.
Future Mrs. Cam Lewis,
She announces.
reporting for duty.
She spins. The veil moves with her, then tightens, adjusting itself. Sabrina laughs, high and uncertain.
It's like it's hugging me.
Her laugh snaps off. Her hands fly to her throat, fingers clawing uselessly at the fabric. Panic floods her face as she gasps, soundless.
Sabrina?
Declan drops the camera onto the bed and lunges forward. She stumbles, choking, eyes wide and frantic. The veil cinches hard, pulling her face red, then purple. I grab the lace and yank. It resists. The fabric pulls back against me, taut as wire, impossibly strong for something so delicate. For a breathless second, it feels alive in my hands, then it releases. Sabrina collapses backward, coughing violently, sucking in air. The veil slips free and drifts to the floor, settling in a pale heap like it's done nothing at all.
What?
She coughs again, voice shredded.
What the hell?
The bridesmaids rush to her. Ariella, wide-eyed, thrusts the water bottle into Sabrina's hands. Becca, tall and rigid in a gold sash, stares at the veil like it might strike again. Charlene freezes, clipboard pressed to her chest, color draining from her face. Hadley hangs back near the doorframe, one hand gripping the wood, knuckles white, but her expression isn't one of shock. It's something closer to grim confirmation. As if the inn just proved a point she'd been making for years. Static electricity, I say, though the words taste wrong. Synthetic fabric, dry air.
That wasn't static.
Angry red marks bloom across Sabrina's throat.
Something grabbed me.
Declan watches me. The mirror rattles. Every one of us flinches. A chilled breeze sweeps through the room. Frost creeps across the vanity's surface, blooming white along the edges. The lamp dies again, this time for good. Enid whimpers. The cat hisses at the balcony door, fur bristling. I follow his gaze. There's nothing there. And yet the air feels crowded, pressurized. The scent of lilac layered over damp stone, with a sour undernote that wades through the breeze, churns my stomach. Declan goes very still beside me.
Do you see?
He starts. I furrow my brows. What? The lamp flares back on, blindingly bright. Sabrina screams and bolts for the door. Her bridesmaids, Ariella and Becca, follow, heels clattering. Jessica is already in the hallway, having positioned herself near the exit the moment the veil moved. Charlene hesitates just long enough to meet my eyes with a look of pure terror before she runs after them. Hadley doesn't run. She stands in the doorway as the others stream past her, arms crossed, watching the empty room like she's tallying damages.
She'll want a different suite.
That would be wise. I manage. Hadley's gaze drops to the veil pooled on the floor. Something complicated moves across her face, not fear exactly. Resignation. The expression of someone who grew up sleeping 2 floors below this room and has stopped being surprised by what it does to guests.
Good luck explaining that to her father.
Hadley turns and follows the others downstairs. He opens his mouth to argue. Then a door bangs open 2 floors below. Male voices with the specific timbre of people who expect rooms to already be warm and parking spaces to already be reserved. Declan glances at the ceiling, recalibrating.
That the groom?
And reinforcements by the sound of it. We collect the remaining equipment in silence and take the stairs down. The lobby has transformed in the 20 minutes we spent upstairs getting assaulted by paranormal haberdashery. 4 new rolling suitcases occupy the entrance like a small, expensive barricade. Wendy Norwood stands behind the front desk, smile lacquered on, pen hovering over the register. Charlene moves between the new arrivals. The young man is easy to place, even before Charlene says his name. Late 20s, that particular brand of handsome that photographs well without effort, wearing a jacket that cost more than Enid's monthly rent.
Cam.
Charlene intercepts him, extending a hand.
Perfect timing. Rehearsal dinner is at 7.
Cameron Lewis, the fiancé. Beside him stands an older woman surveying the Norwood Inn the way a contractor surveys a Victorian fixer-upper, appreciating the bones while silently pricing the work. She's immaculate in a charcoal wool coat and expertly styled dark hair. She rests one hand on the front desk as Wendy slides over a welcome card.
Lovely property.
Her voice carries without effort, pitched for rooms with good acoustics and better negotiators.
You can always tell when a building has history.
Wendy's smile gains 3 degrees of warmth.
We like to think so, Mrs. Lewis.
The woman's smile stretches brighter.
Please call me Grace.
A fourth figure, older, graying in a conservative suit, steps up beside her and extends a hand to Wendy.
Raymond Lewis. We spoke on the phone about the rehearsal seating.
Of course, Mr. Lewis.
Wendy says warmly,
Right this way.
which makes the last one the brother. He's standing slightly to the left of the group and therefore easy to overlook, until you notice he's the only one in the room not performing a rival. Taller than Cam, broader through the shoulders, darker in coloring. He's wearing the same tailored overcoat as his brother. Charlene sweeps back toward the group with her printed schedule, distributing copies like verdicts.
Rehearsal dinner is at 7 in the dining hall. Kitchen confirmed. Florals arrive this afternoon. Placement cards ready for your review.
She hands one to the mother without being asked.
If anyone wants to freshen up first, I'd suggest heading up now. Sabrina's running on influencer time, which means approximately 40 minutes behind.
Grace glances at the schedule and offers Charlene a thin, approving smile.
Wonderful, thank you, dear.
Cam catches Charlene's eye.
She doing okay?
Charlene's expression doesn't flicker.
She's perfect. Go upstairs, change your shirt, and be in the dining hall by 7 with something nice to say about the centerpieces.
He nods and gives her a sly grin as he makes his way out. The group disperses toward the staircase. Then he follows his family up without a word. As their footsteps fade, Declan exhales slowly and turns to me.
Thea, tell me you saw the ghost earlier.
You're just spooked. If you saw something, it was probably heat distortion or lens flare. He frowns, then glances at the camera screen.
Not according to this.
Declan tilts the camera screen toward me. Frame 0 hours, 14 minutes, 37 seconds. A woman stands by the balcony doors. Solid, unmistakable. She wears a wedding dress from another century, high-necked, pearl-buttoned, the ivory silk turned gray with age and water damage. Dark stains mar the bodice. Her hair hangs in wet ropes past her shoulders, honey-colored, droplets sliding from the ends of it to the floor. She can't be more than 25. Her face might have been beautiful once. Now her eyes burn, black, furious, fixed on Sabrina with a hunger that makes my skin crawl. A livid bruise circles her throat, twisted in the unmistakable pattern of lace. Her hands hang at her sides, fingers curled. Frame 0 hours, 14 minutes, 38 seconds. Gone. My mouth goes dry. Double exposure. Meow. The cat pads over and sits at my feet, tail wrapped tight around his body. He lets out a low, insistent meow. I kneel and pick up the veil. It lies limp and harmless in my hands. Declan powers down the camera.
We need to tell Hadley. Maybe get a priest.
I shake my head. Whatever this is, we need to keep it. Production will love it.
And if Hester comes back?
Then we'll have proof. The dining hall smells like someone's aunt's wedding. Warm bread, candle wax, and the specific floral aggression of centerpieces that cost more than they should. String lights loop between the ceiling beams, doing their best to make the Norwood Inn feel festive rather than haunted. It mostly works if you don't look too hard at the portraits. Enid has the wide-angle lens, I have the infrared on standby, and a growing suspicion that tonight is going to be significantly longer than the call sheet suggests. Ambient coverage, I tell her, pitching my voice under the string quartet someone has installed near the window. Table reactions, candids, anything that reads as genuine human emotion. We'll need it as contrast against whatever the suite gives us later. She nods and slips into the perimeter, camera low. Good instinct. Nothing kills a natural moment faster than a lens in someone's sightline. I take up a position near the sideboard and watch the room arrange itself. The tables are dressed in cream linen and what I'm told are heirloom botanical centerpieces, the kind of thing that arrives in a refrigerated van with its own invoice. Place cards and calligraphy, champagne already poured. The Norwood Inn staff move between tables with practiced quiet, black aprons, eyes down. So efficiently invisible they might as well be haunting the place themselves. Sabrina has changed again. She's in champagne silk now, tiara retired in favor of pearl clips, the rhinestone sash gone. She looks almost like a real bride, which I suspect is the point. She's seated at the head table beside Cam, her hand resting on his forearm, with the easy confidence of a woman who has already done 17 outfit changes and knows this one photographs best. Cam is attentive in the way of someone concentrating very hard on appearing relaxed. He laughs at the right moments. He refills her glass unprompted. If you didn't know about the terror upstairs, you'd read him as devoted. I know about the terror upstairs, so I read him as terrified. Hadley is 3 seats down on the same table. She is eating her bread roll with the focused intensity of someone who has decided that carbohydrates are the only safe social option. Charlene circulates the room at a pace just below conspicuous, correcting a place card, redirecting a caterer with a hand gesture, intercepting a bridesmaid who is about to sit in the wrong seat with the smooth efficiency of someone who has run this exact interference before. She doesn't sit. I'm not sure she's planned to. The bridesmaids cluster at the adjacent table. Ariella has her phone screened down beside her plate, which she keeps touching and then not picking up. Jessica is filming the centerpiece. Becca pours herself a second glass of something amber, with the resigned expression of someone who decided 2 tables ago that this was a survival situation. Tiffany arrives 5 minutes after everyone else, slightly flushed, adjusting an earring. She takes her seat, smooths her dress, and produces a smile calibrated precisely to "I was powdering my nose" energy. I clock the flush and the timing and say nothing. Raymond Lewis settles in beside his wife with the comfortable inertia of a man who has sat through many formal dinners and expects this one to proceed the same way. He makes small talk with the man to his right, Derek, I think, the wedding planner, who is already sweating through his collar, with the easy detachment of someone whose job tonight is to exist without causing problems. Daniel is beside him. He angles his chair a degree or two outward, the way you do when you want your face visible to the room without appearing to want it. He speaks when spoken to. He laughs at his father's joke. He touches nothing on the table he hasn't been offered first. He is, by every external measure, exactly where he should be and doing exactly what he should be doing. This is either because he is a pleasant person with good manners or because he is the most deliberate man in the room. I watch him for 30 seconds and cannot tell which. Declan appears at my elbow, camera bag over one shoulder.
You want a clean shot of the tables, or are we staying wide?
Wide. I want the whole room in frame for the toasts.
Smart.
He settles in beside me, close enough to murmur.
Groom looks like he's diffusing something.
He is. He's diffusing the entire evening.
Succeeding?
Ask me after the toasts. The first toast is Charlene's. She raises her glass with the composure of someone who has spent 48 hours ensuring that this exact moment goes smoothly, and delivers 3 minutes of warm, efficient affection. Childhood anecdote, college memory, something that makes 3 bridesmaids cry and Sabrina press her lips together in a smile that reaches her eyes for the first time all night. It is, genuinely, a good toast. I find myself slightly annoyed by this. Cam's toast is sweet and slightly fumbling in the way that plays well. He talks about the first time he realized he was in love with her, which involves a story about a canceled flight and a card game, and sounds unrehearsed enough to be true. Sabrina laughs. The room exhales. Then Grace Louis stands. She holds her glass at precisely the right height. Not performative, not casual, calibrated.
Cam has always understood,
She begins.
that the things worth having require stewardship. Not just possession, stewardship. The care of something larger than yourself.
She looks at Sabrina with a warm and entirely unreadable expression.
We are glad to have you joining a family that takes that seriously. Building something that lasts requires the right foundation.
She lifts her glass. The room drinks. Charlene does not immediately lower her glass after the sip. She holds it a beat too long, staring at the table in front of her. Sabrina smiles at her future mother-in-law with perfect brightness. Daniel watches his mother sit down, then returns his attention to his plate. I lean toward Declan. Did that toast sound like a wedding to you? He keeps his eyes forward.
Sounded like an acquisition.
That's what I thought. An hour later, with the rehearsal dinner winding toward its close and the bridesmaids already migrating back upstairs in a champagne-fueled gravitational pull, Declan and I find a quiet corner of the parlor and pull up the footage from earlier. Laughter echoes up from the bar. Sabrina's voice rises above it, forced and sharp.
Relax, it was a prank. The production people probably rigged it.
If only.
I think of the marks on Sabrina's throat. I wish it was that simple. Hadley appears beside us, arms crossed.
Heard screaming. Do I need an exorcist or a lawyer?
Both.
Declan says.
Hester doesn't like company.
She's real? I echo, raising a brow. Hadley's expression doesn't change.
Real enough. She has opinions about this place, especially about the people who stay in her suite.
What kind?
The violent kind.
She taps the ledger on the front desk.
Last bride ran out at 3 a.m., screaming about hands on her throat. The one before that sleepwalked to the balcony and nearly fell to the ground.
My stomach turns. And you rented it anyway?
She wanted authenticity.
Hadley shrugs.
Signed a waiver.
Something about the shrug is too practiced. Too unbothered for a woman wearing a lilac bridesmaid sash she clearly wants to set on fire. Let me guess. I say. Your mother's idea? Hadley's mask slips a fraction.
My mother thinks every guest is a business opportunity. Sabrina's father owns the Stanton Grand chain, 12 hotels last I counted. Mom's been courting a deal with him for months.
She catches herself, jaw tightening.
Which is not relevant to your ghost show.
It isn't. And yet I file it away. The innkeeper's daughter serving as a bridesmaid to the daughter of a hotel mogul, in an inn that might soon change hands. That's not friendship. That's a hostage negotiation in Tool. Well, either way, waivers won't help if she's dead. I say. Hadley smiles thinly.
Then keep her alive.
She walks away. Her posture says the conversation is over. Her fists, shoved deep in the pockets of her jeans beneath the sash, say something else entirely. Enid approaches, pale but determined.
Ms. Graves, the bridesmaids want to do a seance tonight. Should I set up cameras?
I close my eyes. Of course they do. I march toward the bar. Come on, we should shut it down. It's not safe. Declan touches my elbow.
They'll sneak in anyway. Better we're there.
I open my eyes and groan as I rub my temples to stave off an incoming headache. I hate it when you're right. Sabrina's bachelorette entourage has turned the Stanton suite into a screaming, off-key karaoke arena. High-pitched shrieks drill into my left ear. Girls just want to have fun blares from a single wheezing speaker in the corner, and someone is committing a felony against Cyndi Lauper. There's enough spandex, feathers, and rhinestones in here to outfit a low-budget Vegas review. I stand just inside the doorway with my arms folded. Our crew is scattered through the suite, Gus on camera, Enid hovering with the boom, a production assistant crouched near an outlet to keep the batteries alive. The plan was simple. Film a quick B-roll segment of festive bridal energy, then get out. The plan did not account for 6 women treating a haunted bridal suite like a nightclub. Glitter confetti drifts in the air and clings to every surface. My boots crunch through it when I shift my weight. It's on the rug, in the lampshade, in the folds of the curtains. It's probably in my bloodstream. Sabrina's changed again, now in rose gold satin pajamas with white piping and bride across her heart in rhinestones. Her tiara is still crooked. She's holding her phone, obsessively checking the viewer count on her live stream. I don't need to ask. Someone shrieks whenever the number jumps. Charlene circulates the room with quiet efficiency, collecting empty cups, intercepting champagne bottles. She's changed into a teal blouse that looks like it belongs in an office, not a bachelorette suite. Every few minutes, she steers the conversation away from a landmine or produces a snack at precisely the moment someone's blood sugar is cratering. It would be impressive if it weren't so relentless. Jessica, another bridesmaid, keeps popping into every shot like a malfunctioning mascot, shouting commentary, throwing up peace signs, complaining whenever she's not centered. Becca, tall and stiff in her gold sash, hangs close to Sabrina with the tense, watchful energy of someone who's one more spilled drink away from snapping. She laughs when she's supposed to, but she doesn't relax. Ariella sits near the vanity in an oversized cardigan, posture folded inward, eyes flicking around the room. She smiles when spoken to. It never reaches her eyes. Tiffany, quiet, glossy-haired, phone always up, captures everything from the edges, posting clips with captions before the moment is even over. And then there's Hadley. She's parked on the window seat at the far end of the suite, legs crossed, scrolling through her own phone with the determined detachment of someone writing out a prison sentence. The lilac sash is gone, replaced by a lilac cardigan that technically matches the bridal party color scheme, while telegraphing that she'd rather be anywhere else on the planet. She hasn't spoken to Sabrina directly since the veil incident. She hasn't spoken to anyone, really, except to accept a glass of water from Charlene with a grunt that might have been, "Thanks." It's a mess. It's also, unfortunately, excellent television.
You doing okay up there?
Declan's voice crackles in my earpiece. I keep my tone level. "I'm thriving," I murmur. This is exactly what I imagined when I applied for a job involving paranormal investigations. He makes a sound that might be laughter.
If anyone starts juggling knives, tell me. I'll stage an equipment malfunction that kills the music.
I'd prefer knives, I say, watching Jessica attempt to twerk in the direction of the camera. At least that would be a clean death. Declan's voice fades as he moves elsewhere, probably trying to keep the rest of our crew from being swallowed whole by bridal enthusiasm. Sabrina claps her hands for attention.
Okay, truth or dare.
A wave of cheers sweeps through the suite. Phones tilt. The live stream chat explodes with hearts and flame emojis. Charlene's shoulders tighten. She sets down a stack of napkins and straightens, arms folding across her chest. This is not her first rodeo. She can read the room. She knows Sabrina's version of fun won't be all innocent. Sabrina points the champagne bottle like a microphone.
Charlene, you first. Truth or dare?
Charlene forces a smile.
Truth.
Boo!
Sabrina pouts, dragging the vowel like it's an insult. Then her grin widens.
Fine. How does it feel stepping into my sister's shoes? Honestly.
Charlene blinks once. Her grip tightens on the clipboard she's reclaimed from the desk.
I'm honored,
She says, and there's something measured in her voice, almost rehearsed.
But do you actually want to be here?
Sabrina presses, head tilting.
Or are you just doing Lauren a favor?
A few of the girls shift. Jessica's grin freezes. Even Hadley looks up from her phone. Charlene's jaw works.
I want your wedding to be perfect,
She says.
That's why I'm here. And that means keeping your weekend from becoming a disaster.
Sabrina presses a hand to her chest as if wounded.
A disaster? Babe, I'm entertaining. That's why you all love me.
A few girls laugh too loudly. Charlene's smile holds. Barely.
Right.
Sabrina lifts the bottle triumphantly.
Next.
The game rolls on. I watch, arms still folded, and try to ignore the faint, persistent chill near the vanity. The old suite wiring can explain flickering lights. It can't explain why the air around Sabrina looks colder than the rest of the room. It can't explain the way the cat, who Hadley told me they call Spooky, slips along the wall like he owns the shadows, tail curved, eyes bright and watchful. He pads to Ariella's feet and rubs against her calf. Ariella's hand drops to his head automatically, fingers sinking into his fur. Her shoulders loosen by a fraction. A champagne cork pops, another shriek. Glitter floats higher. Sabrina pivots, bottle raised again.
Ariella!
Ariella freezes. Sabrina beams like she's about to do something generous.
Truth or dare, bitch?
Truth. Ariella swallows. Sabrina makes a face.
Nope, dare. I'm overriding you. Bridal privilege.
Charlene's mouth tightens. She says nothing. Phones swing toward Ariella. Tiffany shifts closer for a better angle. Jessica bounces on her heels like she's watching a sports match.
Sabrina.
Ariella's fingers twist in the cuff of her cardigan.
I dare you.
Sabrina announces.
To kiss Jess.
Whistles, screams, and clapping engulf the room. The live stream chat floods with hearts. Jessica's grin goes bright and uncertain all at once. Ariella's face drains of color.
Only if Ari's okay with it.
Jessica lifts both hands. Sabrina laughs.
She's fine. Ariella likes girls. She came out months ago, remember? We're all supportive here. Only in person.
Ariella's eyes flash, then vanish behind a forced smile. Sabrina leans in closer, lowering her voice like she's sharing a secret for the audience.
Plus, I distinctly remember Ariella begging me for a dance in freshman year. It was iconic.
The room laughs again, louder, hungrier. Ariella's jaw tightens.
Stop.
Sabrina's smile sharpens.
What? It was cute.
Charlene shifts forward, finally.
Sabrina.
Sabrina waves her off without looking.
It's a dare. Don't be boring.
Ariella looks around the room. Then, after a beat, she gives a small, brittle nod.
It's fine,
she says. Jessica steps closer. She lowers her voice, almost gentle.
We really don't have to.
Ariella's eyes flick up, quick, raw. Then she forces her expression smooth and leans in. The kiss lasts seconds, just long enough for the room to squeal. When they separate, Jessica rubs her lip, dazed. Ariella's face is blank. Sabrina claps like she's just staged an inspirational moment.
Adorable.
My stomach churns. Ariella turns away and focuses on the nearest task, collecting empty glasses, stacking them. Her hands shake. She keeps moving anyway.
Next!
Sabrina declares, spinning on her heel.
Becca!
Becca straightens like she's bracing for impact.
Truth or dare?
Sabrina asks.
Dare.
Becca says like she'd rather swallow nails than answer a personal question on livestream. Can't say I blame her. Sabrina's grin turns feral.
I dare you to take Ariella's phone and read the last text she sent.
Ariella's head lifts. Her cardigan sleeves are pulled over her hands.
Sabrina. No.
Charlene snaps. Sabrina pouts.
It's a dare.
Becca doesn't move. Her gaze flicks to Ariella, then to Sabrina.
Pick another one.
Sabrina's grin falters for half a second.
What? Why? Ari, is there something else we should know?
Ariella winces, and uncomfortable laughter filters through the room. Becca folds her arms.
I said pick another one.
The room laughs, but it's the wrong kind. Nervous. Interested. Sabrina recovers fast. Fine, fine. I dare you to... She waves her bottle vaguely. I dare you to drink whatever's in the green bottle without making a face. Becca snatches the bell-shaped shot cup and throws it back like she's punishing the liquid personally. Her throat works. Her eyes water. She smiles anyway.
Happy?
She asks.
Ecstatic!
Sabrina cackles. Becca wipes her mouth with the back of her hand and mutters.
You're going to regret this.
Ariella and Jess stifle laughs. Charlene glares. Sabrina turns, already moving on.
Tiffany!
Tiffany, glossy-haired and quiet, lowers her phone with a slow smile.
Truth,
she says. Sabrina makes a face.
Ugh, fine. Tell us a secret you've never told the bride.
Tiffany's gaze drifts to Sabrina's phone, the live stream, the camera lens. Then she says, lightly,
I don't post everything I film.
A few people laugh, assuming it's a joke. Tiffany's eyes stay calm.
Some things are better kept to myself.
The laughter dies in the air. Sabrina blinks.
Okay, weird. Next.
Daniel Lewis stands at the far end of the corridor, just outside the suite's spill of light. He's still in his dinner jacket. His hands are in his pockets, his posture unremarkable. Someone who heard raised voices and came to check. His eyes move across the room once. Sabrina, Hadley, the phone with its climbing viewer count, the veil still pooled on the floor where it landed after Sabrina tore it off. Then Cam appears behind him, hand on his brother's shoulder, murmuring something I can't hear. Daniel nods once. He doesn't look back into the room. The two of them turn and move toward the staircase. As she looks around for her next victim, the overhead light flickers. Once. Twice. The music crackles, then stabilizes. Ariella freezes with a plastic cup in her hand and meets my eyes across the room.
Did you hear that?
I take a step closer to the lamp. Bad wiring, I mutter.
Hallway breaker's been stable.
Declan's voice comes through my earpiece, quieter. Then it's a surge, I say.
Or...
Don't. I cut in. Sabrina slings an arm around Becca and laughs too loudly.
Okay, wedding shots.
Someone produces bell-shaped shot cups. Neon green liquid appears. The smell is sweet, chemical, and aggressive. The girls line up. They cheer. They drink. They cough. They laugh. The light flickers again. This time, the lamp near the bed dims slowly, as if someone were turning down a dial. The air cools. Ariella shivers and rubs her arms. Her eyes flick toward the balcony doors. They're shut. The curtains should move with the draft from the cracked window. They don't. Sabrina laughs and raises the champagne bottle again.
If the ghost is messing with the power, we do not consent.
Jessica whoops. Tiffany records. Becca throws her head back and shrieks. Charlene's eyes dart toward the vanity, toward Ariella, toward the corners. She sees it too, whatever it is. Ariella steps back from the group, pushing toward the vanity like she's drawn by gravity. Spooky follows, close enough that his fur brushes her ankle. I move closer, careful not to draw attention. Ariella, I say, pitching my voice low. She doesn't answer. Her reflection stares back at her, pale, strained, eyes too bright. Then the mirror's surface shivers. Ariella's breath catches. The overhead light dies. The music stutters and cuts off mid-chorus. For half a second, nobody moves. Then Sabrina claps once, loud and artificial.
Okay, everyone, enough paranormal pranks. Back to the game.
Her gaze lands on Hadley, still perched on the window seat, phone in hand, radiating the enthusiasm of a DMV employee on hour 9.
Hads!
Sabrina's voice goes bright and sharp, the tone of someone who's been waiting for this.
Your turn. Truth or dare?
Hadley looks up slowly.
Pass. 70.
There's no pass in truth or dare.
There is when I'm playing.
Sabrina's smile doesn't waver.
Come on, you've been sulking all night. Participate for the live stream.
She wiggles the phone.
12,000 people watching.
Thrilling.
Truth or dare, Hadley?
Something shifts in Hadley's posture, a squaring of the shoulders, a tilt of the chin. She sets her phone face down on the windowsill and stares Sabrina down.
Fine. Truth.
Sabrina beams.
Perfect.
She takes a sip of champagne, drawing out the moment. The room watches, sensing the change in pressure.
Tell everyone how you really feel about your mom selling the inn to my dad.
The overhead light flickers, once, twice. But this time, nobody looks up. The real electricity is in the room. Hadley's expression doesn't change, but her hand grips the window seat's edge hard enough to creak the wood.
There's no deal. They're in talks.
Talks that I suggested,
Sabrina says, turning to the camera.
Fun fact for the chat. This whole thing was my idea. I told Daddy about this cute little haunted inn, and he was obsessed. He wants to make it a boutique property. Stanton's signature collection. It'll be gorgeous.
I watch Hadley's face cycle through 3 distinct expressions in under a second. Confusion, comprehension, and cold fury. The confusion is the most telling. She didn't know it was Sabrina's idea. She thought it was her mother's business initiative, perhaps. Or the father's, not this.
You.
Hadley's voice is very quiet.
You're the reason my mother...
I connected 2 smart business people.
Sabrina says, still smiling, still performing.
Your mom's been struggling with this place for years, Hads. It's practically a charity case. My dad can turn it into something actually profitable.
The music crackles and cuts off mid-chorus. Nobody reaches for the speaker. Charlene steps forward, one hand raised.
Maybe we should...
Sabrina waves her off without looking.
God, you're so dramatic. It's business. Your mom is thrilled.
A charity case?
Hadley stands. The window seat groans.
I grew up here, Sabrina. This isn't a fixer-upper for your dad's portfolio. This is my home.
Sabrina's smile finally flickers.
My mom is desperate. There's a difference.
Hadley's voice is climbing now, the careful flatness cracking open to show what's underneath.
You've been playing her for months. The wedding booking, the authentic experience, the influencer content. This was all just due diligence for the sale, wasn't it? You turned my mother's inn into an audition.
Ariella freezes with a plastic cup in her hand. The air around the vanity grows colder.
Okay, wow.
Sabrina sets down the champagne bottle.
I was being nice. I was trying to help your family.
You were trying to help yourself. You always are.
The overhead light flickers again, harder this time, a strobe-quick pulse that makes the shadows jump. Sabrina's composure cracks.
You know what, Hadley? At least I'm trying to build something. What are you building? You're, 27 and still answering your mom's phones? Still playing innkeeper in a building that's falling apart?
Hadley's face goes white, then red. Her mouth opens, closes. And then something shifts behind her eyes.
You want a truth, Sabrina?
Hadley's voice drops low, steady. The voice of someone who knows she's about to detonate something and has stopped caring about the shrapnel.
Here's one. Ask Cam about last October. Ask him what happened when he drove up here to check out the venue without you.
The room goes very still. Sabrina blinks.
What?
Ask him.
Hadley repeats.
Because I'm done pretending I don't know why you've been punishing me all weekend.
Becca's hand drifts to her mouth. Jessica's eyes go wide. Tiffany's phone, for once, lowers. Sabrina stares at Hadley. The live stream numbers are climbing. 15,000 now, 16. But for the first time all night, she doesn't look at the screen.
What are you saying?
I think you already know.
Hadley says. The mirror shivers again. The air around the vanity turns sharper, colder. Ariella, standing closest to it, gasps and presses a hand to her arm. But neither Sabrina nor Hadley looks away from each other. Sabrina takes one step forward.
Did you sleep with my fiancé?
The question drops into the room like a stone into still water. Hadley doesn't flinch.
It was 6 months ago. It was a mistake. He said he was going to tell you.
Sabrina's voice fractures.
You've been standing in my bridal party knowing...
I didn't want to be in your bridal party.
Hadley's control finally shatters, volume spiking.
My mother begged me, because she wants your father's money, because she thinks if I smile and wear the stupid sash and pretend we're friends, your family will save this inn. Do you get that? I'm here because my mom can't afford to lose this deal. And you.
She jabs a finger at Sabrina.
You made sure of that, didn't you? You put me in this position on purpose. You knew.
I didn't know anything!
Sabrina shrieks.
Cam never... He wouldn't...
He did. I'm sorry, but he did.
The lamp on the nightstand dies. The overhead light stutters and goes out. Someone drops a glass and it shatters against the hardwood in the sudden dark.
Everywhere and nowhere.
You'll be sorry.
A voice hisses.
Who said that?
Jessica whispers. Everyone looks around.
Nope. Wasn't me.
Then who?
Suddenly, the lamp flares back to life in a harsh wash of yellow. Ariella stands rigid at the vanity, fingers pressed to her throat. A thin red line traces her skin, vivid against her pallor. Her eyes are wide, unfocused, aimed at the balcony doors. They're open. No one opened them. But no one is looking at Ariella. Every eye in the room is locked on the center, where Sabrina and Hadley stand 2 feet apart, chests heaving. Sabrina's face is blotchy, mascara tracks cut through her glitter.
Get out.
She whispers.
Gladly.
No.
Sabrina's voice climbs.
Get out of my bridal party. Get out of my weekend. Get out of my sight.
It's my inn.
Hadley snarls. Charlene moves between them with the practiced efficiency of a woman who has physically separated people before.
Enough. Both of you. Cameras are rolling. The live stream is...
I don't care about the live stream.
Sabrina screams, and for the first time tonight, I believe her. Charlene's hand closes around Sabrina's arm, not rough, but firm.
Then turn it off. And breathe.
Becca is already ushering Jessica toward the door. Tiffany pockets her phone with unusual speed. At the far end of the corridor, Grace Lewis moves past the suite doorway without pausing, coat on, face arranged into something that could be distaste or could be concentration, heading for the staircase at a pace that suggests she has seen enough and decided the rest is not her problem. Ariella slips out last, one hand still pressed to her throat, the other trailing along the wall for balance. The cat follows her, close enough that his fur brushes her ankle. As the bridesmaids file past me, I catch fragments. Jessica hissing, "Did you know?" to Becca, who shakes her head tight and fast. Tiffany murmuring something about deleting a clip. Ariella saying nothing at all, her eyes fixed on the middle distance. Hadley is the last to move. She picks up her phone from the window seat, shoves it in her pocket, and walks toward the door without looking back. At the threshold, she pauses beside me. Her voice is low, raw, stripped of everything except exhaustion.
For the record,
She says,
I didn't want any of this.
then she's gone. Sabrina stands alone in the center of the room, surrounded by spilled champagne and shattered glass and drifting confetti. The balcony doors hang open behind her, curtains stirring in a breeze that smells like lilac and something older. The tiara sits crooked in her hair. Her phone buzzes with 18,000 viewers, and she doesn't pick it up. "Get upstairs," I tell Declan through my earpiece. "Now." Chapter 3. Declan takes in the room in one sweep. The dead music, the dimmed lamp, glitter still drifting. He catches my eye, then looks at Sabrina. "We'll give you a minute," I say. Declan waits until the door settles behind us before he speaks.
Okay.
He says.
What actually happened?
I lean back against the wallpapered wall, which smells faintly of lemon cleaner and old wood. Lights went out. A voice said, "You'll be sorry." Then the balcony doors opened.
And Hadley?
He asks. I shake my head, clicking my tongue. She and Sabrina were already circling each other before the lights went out. I say, "Apparently the inn is up for sale soon, and it was all Sabrina's idea." I fill him in as we move.
Sounds like Sabrina was trying to humiliate her.
He says, "She was,
Why?
because she could." He exhales through his nose.
That tracks.
The lobby lights are dimmed when we reach the bottom. The chandelier throws warm circles across the rug. Gus is still hovering near the coffee station like caffeine is a moral support system. Daniel and Raymond Lewis are in the far corner near the bar, not drinking exactly, just occupying the space with the comfortable authority of men who are used to occupying spaces. Raymond has his jacket off, draped over the chair back, sleeves rolled once at the wrist. He's talking, low and easy, the body language of someone finishing a thought he started at dinner. Daniel sits across from him, one ankle crossed over his knee, glass in hand. He hasn't touched the drink in the time I've been watching. His eyes move across the lobby at intervals, door, staircase, front desk, with the patient rhythm of someone who is listening to his father and also tracking everything else. They look like what they are, a father and son waiting out the evening while the women sort things. I look away. Near the bar, Tiffany perches on a stool beside Jessica, both of them still in their rehearsal dinner dresses. Jessica has her phone up, of course she does, panning slowly across the lobby like she's composing a shot. Tiffany is saying something I can't catch, one hand wrapped around a glass of something sparkling, the other adjusting the clasp of her bracelet with the slightly distracted energy of someone whose mind is elsewhere. Then she checks her phone. Whatever she sees there, her expression doesn't change, but she slides off the stool, sets her glass down with deliberate care, and murmurs something to Jessica. Jessica nods without lowering the camera. Tiffany crosses the lobby at an angle that takes her away from both the staircase and the front desk, toward the side corridor where the old parlor and the inn's back exit sit behind their respective closed doors. Jessica keeps filming. I watch Tiffany go and file it away. At the base of the staircase, half hidden behind the newel post, Ariella and Becca stand close enough together that the conversation is clearly not meant to carry. I catch the shape of it without the content. Becca's jaw set, arms folded across her chest, Ariella's posture inward, one hand pressed flat against the wall beside her. They're not fighting. It's something quieter and more damaging than fighting. It's the kind of exchange that happens when two people have been holding something back all night, and one of them has finally run out of patience for holding. Ariella shakes her head once, sharp. Becca says something. Ariela's hand drops from the wall and she moves past Becca and up the stairs without another word, close enough that her shoulder almost brushes mine as she passes. Neither of them looks at me. Behind the desk, Wendy Norwood, the owner, and Hadley's mom, and Hadley are in the middle of something that is very clearly not about housekeeping schedules. Wendy heaves a long sigh.
We need this exposure,
She says.
Bookings are down. Renovations aren't cheap.
Exposure won't matter if you sell out anyway.
Hadley shoots back.
And it doesn't fix what she's doing to people.
Wendy's brows knit together.
Is this about Cam?
Hadley nods once.
He came up here in October.
Hadley says.
To check out the venue. We ended up talking. One thing led to another.
Her voice tightens, but she doesn't look away.
It was a mistake. He said he was going to tell her. He swore he would.
And you believed him? Wendy asks.
Yes.
The answer is immediate. Too immediate to be a lie.
And you confirmed it.
Wendy says.
I didn't mean to.
Hadley snaps.
She kept needling. About the inn, about the sale, about how she was the one who brought Daddy into it.
Wendy blinks.
Excuse me?
Hadley turns toward her fully now.
She said it was her idea, that she pitched the inn to him, that without her, there wouldn't even be talks.
Wendy's composure cracks for the first time.
That's not how business works.
Firing back. Isn't it?
Hadley fires back.
You told me it came through his office, that it was a mutual opportunity. You never said she planted the seed.
It doesn't matter who mentioned it first.
Wendy says, but there's strain in her voice now.
It was a sensible proposal. We need the money. You know that.
I know that.
Hadley says, and now the anger shifts into something more wounded.
But you let me think it was your decision. Or his. Not hers.
It was my decision. On.
Wendy insists.
Whether she floated the idea or not, I evaluated it. I considered it. I chose to move forward.
Without telling me.
I didn't think the origin story mattered.
It mattered to me.
Hadley's voice drops.
She said I was trying to blow up her life, that I'd been jealous since high school.
Wendy inhales sharply.
Jealous?
She thinks everything is about her.
And you? I ask. Hadley's mouth presses thin.
Quietly ashamed. I shouldn't have said it. I know that. But she kept going on about how she'd saved this place, like we owed her. Like my mom would be nothing without her father's money.
Her jaw tightens.
She was making me so mad.
Wendy closes her eyes for a moment.
We are not selling because of pride, Hadley. We are selling because of numbers. The roof alone.
I know.
Hadley says quietly.
I know.
Upstairs, a door slams. All four of us glance toward the stairwell. Hadley shoots me an expectant look, as if I'm the caretaker of all things spooky. Sorry, folks, my brand is investigating phony ghosts, not offering emotional therapy. I glance at Declan. He tilts his head at the stairs.
We should, pack up the gear and get out of her hair.
He whispers. I cringe. Yeah, I was afraid you were going to say that. Declan presses a finger to his lips as we approach the suite door. Through the thin door, Sabrina's muffled voice emerges, tight with desperation.
Come on, pick up.
A rustle.
Cam, it's me again. Please call me back.
A pause, then.
I need to talk to you about Hadley. Why aren't you answering?
Another beat.
Call me, please. The wedding's in...
She must check her phone.
11 hours.
There's a heavy silence, then a dull thud. Maybe she flings the phone at a pillow, or maybe it hits the wall, hard to say. We catch a faint sound of muffled crying. My stomach drops. She's calling her fiancé. I tug on Declan's sleeve. Maybe we should come back later, I hiss. Declan frowns and shakes his head.
Wish we could, but if we're gonna get the footage on time, those night shots...
I sigh. Then we need that equipment. He knocks once, firm but not aggressive. The crying stops. A shuffle inside.
What?
Sabrina calls.
It's us.
Declan says.
Just grabbing the last of the gear.
A pause. Then,
Fine.
I open the door slowly. The lights are on this time, but dim. Sabrina hovers near the foot of the bed. Her once amusing tiara is gone. Her hair is a frazzled tumble around her shoulders. Mascara tracks cut down through glitter. Her face is blotchy, eyes brimming with something that could be fear or fury, maybe both.
What are you doing in here?
She demands, spotting us.
I thought you were a ghost hunting show, not the crew of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. You don't need my emotional breakdown on your B-roll.
We're not filming. I say evenly. Declan gestures to the light stand near the window.
Just cleaning up.
She laughs once. It doesn't land.
Great. Clean up. That's fitting.
Her phone buzzes in her hand. She glances down at it, hope flashing across her face and dying just as quickly. Still not answering? I ask before I can stop myself. She glares at me. Then her shoulders sag.
No.
She says.
You should get some sleep.
Declan says. Sabrina stares at him like the concept is offensive.
I'm getting married in 11 hours.
Yes.
He says.
Exactly.
She presses her lips together, swallowing whatever response she had queued up. I gather the last of the mic cables. Declan lifts the stand base. When we reach the door, she says, quieter.
Don't use any of tonight.
We won't.
Declan replies, but I don't promise anything. We leave her standing at the foot of the bed, staring at her dark phone screen. That night, emergency lighting casts everything in sickly amber, shadows pooling in corners like spilled ink. Declan rolls our mid-tier rig on a squeaky dolly while I carry the infrared camera. The inn breathes differently at this hour, slower, deeper, the particular exhale of a building that has stopped performing for its guests and reverted to something older and less hospitable. I pace backward, framing him. Fact or Fright, Norwood Inn, nocturnal sweep. We pass the oak sideboard. An empty seltzer can clatters when I nudge it. The sound ricochets like a guilty conscience.
You sure we're alone?
Declan asks. Unless the dust bunny's unionized. Halfway down the hall, the cracked mirror hangs crooked. Declan clocks it through the viewfinder. We're nearing the bridal suite when I hear a faint click of an old door latch releasing under careful hands. Declan stops and looks at me. I hold up one finger. Slowly, we slink around the corner. The administrative office sits at the corridor's end, behind a door marked Private in faded brass letters. It's ajar. A thin line of light cuts through the gap. I position myself at the angle that gives me the clearest sightline without opening the door further. Sabrina. She's barefoot. Her hair is loose and uncombed, still crimped where the pins came out. She's wearing the rose gold pajamas from earlier, and she looks, without the performance apparatus, startlingly young. She stands before the far wall where the inn's framed historical documents hang. Certificates, deeds, photographs. She lifts one of the frames from its hook and snaps a photo. I ease the IR camera up and zoom. The document is old, covered in formal cursive on yellowed paper. There's a notary seal at the bottom right. Property and associated holdings transferred in full to E.L. Stanton, executor, dated September 4th, 1893. I lower the camera slowly. Declan is watching the screen, and from the set of his jaw, he's read the same line I have. Sabrina replaces the frame and steps back. Then she moves to the desk and riffles through it. The central drawer slides open without protest. She lifts out a cloth-bound ledger with a cracked spine. She bites her lip, glances around to make sure she won't be caught, then cracks it open and begins turning pages. A few minutes later, the color drains from her face. Her eyes go wide. She slaps a hand over her mouth to stifle something, maybe a gasp, maybe a curse, then snaps the ledger closed and practically shoves it back in the drawer before reaching for her phone. She hits a few buttons, and a shrill ring echoes through the corridor. Declan and I go very still. It rings twice, 3 times. Then, Cam. Her voice is low, stripped of everything that usually lives in it, the performance, the brightness, the weaponized warmth. Just the word, flat and precise.
Flat and precise. Tell me this isn't true.
A pause. His response is inaudible.
Don't do that. I need you to tell me to my face. Tomorrow, before the ceremony.
Her jaw works.
If you can't do that, then we don't have a ceremony.
Before he can respond, she ends the call. With a deep exhale, she cradles the phone against her sternum, eyes closed, and my heart goes out to her. She looks so completely unlike the cheerful, over-enthusiastic bride-to-be who was shrieking karaoke 4 hours ago. I glance at Declan. He opens his mouth but doesn't have time to reply before Sabrina's voice echoes through the hall.
Sneaking up on guests?
She says.
Bold strategy.
We jump and spin around, and I mentally kick myself when I realize Sabrina has already exited the office. We weren't trying to sneak up on anyone, I say. We were just filming some overnight B-roll for the episode. I raise a brow and glance at the office door still ajar, though we've all moved into the hall now.
I couldn't sleep.
She folds her arms, composure back in place, easy as a coat she'd just shrugged on.
I wanted to know more about Hester.
She nods at the framed documents on the wall.
Wendy keeps the actual records in here.
She spares us a small, practiced smile.
Turns out the legend has layers.
Find anything useful?
Declan asks. Sabrina shrugs.
Mostly property transfers and maintenance invoices. Nothing you'd put in a ghost tour.
She straightens, reclaims her phone from the desk.
I'm going back to bed.
She crosses to the stairs, bare feet silent on the parquet. Declan and I press back against the wall as she passes. We wait until her footsteps fade toward the stairs.
Think we should follow her?
Declan asks. I frown, then shake my head. No, she's been through a lot tonight. If she knew that Wendy kept the official documents in here, she must have had permission to see them. Whatever she was looking for, I don't think it's any of our business. Now, come on, we still need footage of the parlor. The parlor is colder than the hallway, which shouldn't be possible given that the hallway has 2 exterior walls and the parlor has none. The chandelier hangs overhead in the dark, massive, brass-armed, crystals catching the infrared light and throwing it back in fractured geometries. I sweep the EMF reader across the room in a slow arc. Near the chandelier's base, the reading climbs. Not dramatically, not the spike you get near active electrical interference, or the kind of genuine anomaly that makes Declan reach for his second camera. Just a steady hum, slightly above baseline, persistent across 3 separate passes. Old wiring, I say.
Probably.
Declan agrees, in the tone he uses when he means something else. I angle the IR lens upward. The mounting bracket sits where it sat earlier tonight. Corroded, rust-eaten, the main support chain dulled with the particular orange of metal that has been stressed and ignored in equal measure. A hairline crack traces the plaster around the bolt plate, pale and fresh against the aged ceiling. Declan lowers the EMF reader and looks at the chandelier for a moment longer than the shot requires.
You know what this place reminds me of?
Don't.
I was going to say the Ashford Hotel.
You were going to say it's haunted.
Same thing.
He caps the reader.
Ready to head back up?
We kill the parlor lights and move back toward the main staircase. The amber emergency lighting swallows our footsteps. We're nearing the bridal suite. Door dull gold, plaque proclaiming Stanton honeymoon in cursive. I zoom on the plaque. There's an impact from behind the door, like a sandbag hitting linoleum. Declan freezes. The camera wavers.
Please tell me that was a shoe.
High heels qualify as blunt instruments. He leans closer, ear nearly to the wood. A faint metallic clatter answers, something falling, rolling.
Sabrina?
He calls.
You good in there?
Silence. He knocks again, louder.
Sabrina?
Only the corridor's draft replies curling cold against my collar. I grasp the knob and twist. It turns. Unlocked. Typical Sabrina, trusting the world to admire her too much to rob her. She's going to scream invasion of privacy. Declan hums.
She can sue us after she thanks us.
I push it open. The door protests with a drawn-out squeal, hinges starved of oil. The air smells of stale champagne, burnt dust, and something coppery underlying, like pennies left in rain. Declan flips the IR lamp to full. Green lumens flood the suite. Ghost color. Everything becomes neon chartreuse and black.
Sweep the room,
He whispers. Copy. I pan left. The chaise lounge is empty, clutter of half-flattened pillows and a crumpled sash. Shadows pool under the vanity, its cracked mirror reflecting a stuttered, insectoid version of the room. Declan steps in with the camera tight to his shoulder. His breath fogs. The balcony doors are open. Wind stirs the curtains. A slender shape lies near the open doorway, half in the room, half on the threshold to the balcony. Sabrina. She's on her back, one arm flung out. Her other hand is at her throat, fingers curled in the fabric wrapped around her neck. The veil. Twisted tight like a rope, embedded deep in her skin. Her face is purple, eyes bulging, mouth open in a silent scream. But it's the staging that stops my breath. The lamp has been knocked over. The heavy base lies shattered beside her, fragments scattered. Her legs are positioned like she fell, but the veil runs from her throat to the balcony railing. Tied there. Taut. Like she hanged herself. Just like Hester. That's all for now, but this case isn't closed just yet. Join me next time as we continue to unravel this case, one clue at a time. Until then, trust the evidence, question the impossible, and remember, every ghost has a story. Good night, and I'll see you in the next investigation.